Okay, now on to my final thoughts on the claustrophobia. So, bear with me. Sorry I did this live. I figured I could get more video out instead of editing and answer. And if you have any questions after this, feel free to ask them. I'll help you out the best I can. Okay, let's start out with the components. I really like the components. They're really well designed. The pieces, the troglodytes are nice figures. They're nice and sturdy, hard, very durable. They look like they can stand up to quite a bit of rough housing when you transit the box around. The demon looks really nice. There's been some comments that the demon looks really cool, and the troglodytes look kind of like Stitch from Lilo and Stitch. But to me, what's a demon really look like anywhere? Monsters and stuff that really look like. It's the art direction they went. The tiles and room tiles, there's 36 of them. They're all really beautifully illustrated. A lot of detail on the tiles, and I just like crappy little, just plain old flat dimensional. They really pop when you put them on, so they all look really three-dimensional and represent what they are. The little symbols on the corners are really helpful because you can tell what a tile is without having to go through a huge box of rules just to sort out what the tiles actually are. So you'll know what they are just by the little thing. You can't say, okay, this is just what's this little spiky thing for? I don't know. It's just there for decorations. Who knows? But they actually put the time to put the little symbols on the board, and then the manual is pretty well written. It does help to actually have the printout on Board Games Geeks for reference sheets. That way each player can have it. That way you can quickly reference the tiles and special abilities of each player. The mechanics for the game are really great. I like the fact that each turn the warriors on the hero side have to assign a die to their to their character to decide what their stats are going to be for that round. It really does add a really good sense of strategy and luck, because the fact that one turn your character is going to have possibly move fast, have low defense, and not hit very hard. And then the other turn will give you the exact opposite. And then also the wound markers, when you start putting them into it, it really makes that sense that every time you actually feel like you're being punished for taking hits rather than just loss of hit points. This is actually going to affect whether or not you're going to be able to do anything on your turn when you get wounds. So the wounds are more serious and say, oh, I just lost a hit point. I can still fight at strength 5 still. No big deal. But this really has that feel that you're really crippled when you take damage. So it's more like, oh, where do I want to put the damage? There are some cards that allow the demon player to put where they want the damage too. But mostly the human players get to allocate it. So your die rolls may be really crappy and you have no choice but to put it in that area, and your character will be a sitting duck. And the Redeemer, you're basically trying not to allocate the gifts and make sure you're not putting any damage in the part where you're going to be using your abilities. Because the precognition is really good in the Survivor scenario. Sometimes you get random gifts, but some of them are really beneficial, so you really don't want to put a wound in there, because then you won't be able to ever use that ability unless you heal yourself. So it's, and the fact that you actually have to hit that die, so if the gift's a 5, you have to have a die in that character's slot in order to use it, so that the luck of the die comes in there too. So I give it props for the mechanics, and as well, and then on the demon side, the mechanic is really well thought out, because it really shows that struggle between the players, because you're constantly adjusting your skills on what the players do. So you're going to roll the die. You may get really good rolls, you may get really bad rolls, but there's a lot of nasty things you can do on how you allocate the die. So you might have ones where you can actually allocate a die and you can move your demons anywhere on the board instead of the restricted, which is usually on a explored opening without a hero on the board anywhere on that tile, or you could boost up the stats of of your monsters by making them do more damage and stuff like that. Or you can, there's one, I think if it's 12 or more, when you dice it up to 12 or more and you put it in that spot, you can automatically do 1 damage to any hero on the board. So you're basically always constantly trying to decide, do you want to put dice in an area to get currency, to get more demons out, or troglodytes out, or do you want to just do other things to give you advantages, like get a card, roll more dice. There's always the decision what you want to do, but it also depends on what your dice rolls. So I like the mechanics there. The fun factor, I really found this really good because it's always different. You have 6 scenarios in the box. Online you can get some. They're putting up online free ones, and of course they're going to be doing more future expansions for the game. I think it's 3 or 4 of them. Just right now he hasn't decided when they're going to come out or if they are, because it depends how the sales are. But I think he's got a really great game here. I never felt like there was a dull moment in the game, because you're always wondering, is your opponent's going to roll really good? Are they going to roll real bad? And how are you going to handle the situation with your card and your cards you drew, or your points that you spent on with your dice, the Destiny on the Destiny board? So it's a lot of fun. It seems like it's really well balanced. The games take, I'd say roughly an hour, 45 minutes to an hour, sometimes a little longer depending on the scenarios, but the game's really fast, and it doesn't seem like it drags on like some games do. So yeah, if you don't mind the theme, and you don't mind the fact you only have the troglodytes and the demon to play with for the demon player, you'll really like it a lot. You'll also like it if you're kind of like into dungeon crawling kind of games, or good versus evil games, where the balance is just luck and strategy. You really will find it very enjoyable. You will not find it enjoyable if you do not like the theme, and you will not find it enjoyable if you don't like the mechanics, which is the random aspects. So if those things tick you off, or even the fact that the heroes may not ever get cards, because there's times when you only get 1 advantage card, and the special stash tiles, the ones that are usually dead ends, or treasure tiles, you won't get anything for them. Sometimes they're objectives, and that's all they are. They don't. So if you actually come across one, you might get your objective, partially your objective done, but you ain't gonna get a card for it. So getting the treasure in the game for the human players is very hard to do at times. So it really makes you think, well, if I'm going to use my abilities to my advantage, to hopefully not run into a situation where I get myself stuck, because I just hope to roll better. So yeah, it's real dicey and lock driven at times, but it is a lot of fun. So thanks for watching. Sorry no editing this time, but I figured I'd try something different. And like I said, as always, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. And if you want me to put up another playing game in a more quieter environment, I'll do that. I didn't expect the sound to travel that well with my camera. I'm still learning how well it picks up audio. And apparently it can pick up audio from way across the room. So that's a good thing and a bad thing. So you guys have a great night, and see you soon.